I don't get gut feelings or knowing. This was a comment that we got that we really want to dive into from another episode that we had from one of our listeners. And I just want to mention we're going to offer an angel card that Rain is going to draw for us at the end to help us guide us through our day and our week. So make sure you stay to the end so you guys can get that card.
Welcome to our channel. I'm Rain with over 20 years of experience as an NLP practitioner, light worker, and channeler through divine inspiration. Here to help you connect with your true self.
And I'm Mel, an empath, light worker, and connector, passionate about guiding you to set boundaries and thrive.
Together, we bring you weekly tools and insights to support your empath journey.
If you're ready to deepen your connection with self, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Let's dive in. All right, Rain. So how come she doesn't get gut feelings? And what should she do about it?
It's near impossible that somebody is birthed onto planet Earth without a gut feeling. Like, this is part of our God compass. Basically, it would be utter cruelty from divinity to get us here on planet Earth and not give us any guidance or any intuition or knowing or gut feelings to guide us to where truth actually lies. So that to her, it must be that she hasn't tapped into it. But what I really got when I read the comment was that it's so part of her nature, and I'm getting the crazy goosebumps now. So it's so part of her nature, and it's what she's done her whole life. The gut feeling is so familiar and normal and natural that she can't differentiate it from the opposite. So she's constantly moving through gut feelings, and she constantly gets knowings. But she believes that these are normal. And because if she's gone into the spiritual world, if she's gone into the spiritual world recently, or she's been trying to figure out, well, what's my gut feeling? What's my gut feeling? I can't figure it out. I need to figure it out because everyone's like, it feels this way and it senses this way and it looks this way. She's looking for something that she does thoughtlessly. Like, her mind can't even control it. Is it making sense? This is what I got specifically. So a lot of people go through that. I know that I was going through that.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's like you have this gift and you literally just don't even see it. You're not even aware that you're already gifted with it. You just naturally embody it and that's you. And you're going around thinking it's got to be maybe harder to get, or you're hearing other people and you're like, oh, it doesn't look exactly like theirs, so I must not have it. What do I need to do? Something's wrong with me, when it's literally just right there, just happening.
Exactly. So it's something that's just so second nature. It's like how sometimes some people think, like, you tell, like, the first, okay, so this is the example that's coming to mind. So for example, I heard this story and I can't remember where, and it was years ago. People on an island have never seen a ship before. Never, ever, ever, ever seen a ship before. And they're on the island, but somebody who fell from the ship, like, and came into the island is like, I'm looking for the ship. I'm looking for the ship. I'm waiting for my ship. I'm stranded. I don't know. And they're like, we don't even know what you're looking for. And they're all staring and they're seeing nothing. And he's like, it's right there. Can you not see it? And the ship's right there. He can see it because he knows how it looks like. They can't see it, right? Because they haven't ever they haven't ever seen something like that. It's not part of their reality yet, until he kept pointing for so long and explaining what it looks like that actually it became part of the reality, right? So it's the same kind of analogy. It's a strange analogy, but it's the same kind of analogy where it's like, it's there, it exists in the world, but she's trying to define it as something when it's always been in the picture.
Great. I love that. So why do some people feel disconnected from their intuition or gut feelings?
Okay, there are several different kinds of people. So there's the kind of people that were traumatized out of it, basically, because they couldn't find the solid facts in the 3D world. So they couldn't find solid fact in 3D world. Therefore, they disconnect from their intuition because it got them in trouble, right? Or they were made fun of, or they were told they were crazy, or a million things they were told to be like, whatever you're saying, can you see it? Are you able to see it? Are you able to touch it? No? Then you're a liar or you're deceiving me. Somehow they were given a title about themselves that made them believe that thing, that God thing they have is uh is awful. It's a lie, that they are a liar. And that's one of the biggest things is when you're a child, the last thing you want to be told is that you're lying or you're deceiving me because you don't want to hurt these adult people's feelings. You just are like, "Look, I have a, I have a feeling about this thing. We shouldn't go there. Look, I know what I'm saying. We really shouldn't go. We shouldn't live in that house. That house is a big no-no, And the parents are like, well, everyone loves it and nothing happened in it. Nobody ever died in it. Like there's nothing to prove this. But then they go into that house and their luck goes to hell. But then again, they'll never go back to the kid and tell them what you said was true. So the child of us will never get throughout the time, will never get the assurance like, well, oh, well, 2 years ago you said the thing. So they stay disconnected because nobody came back and told them, yeah, you were right. By the way, that's why the house, oh, no wonder we lost all our money. It was something to do energetically in the house, right? Other reasons will come. So that's one group of people. Is that making sense?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So that's one group of people that feel disconnected from their intuition or gut feelings. Another group of people will feel disconnected from their gut feelings because, like I said, it's so embedded in who they are and how they function in the world that they start to look for something that they already have, but they want to put logic behind it, right? They want to have it as an identity. They want to, okay, quick example. I channeled my whole life. I didn't even know what channeling is. Back in my day, there was no such thing as channeling, right? My grandma would receive information, but she'd have to go in a dark room first and sit and meditate, then come out. There was a ritual before the thing happens, right? There was a thing that has to happen. But so I thought this is what I had to do. So I didn't know it was naturally coming through all the time. I thought I had to go sit in the dark room, like there's a ritual and a pattern to do the thing. Until years later, the thing as channeling existed or came into my reality that, oh, there's a thing called channeling. But then again, I didn't think I was doing it because channeling meant my voice changes. I speak through a different dialect. It has to be like Esther Hicks or Bashar or something like that, where I have to close my eyes and I just start to speak like this. But it wasn't happening that way. So I'm like, then what the hell is this? Right? To only discover it was so part of how I speak daily that it didn't have to look in a certain way. That's a lot of people, right? So both do exist. These are the two basic categories of why some people feel disconnected because it's actually so second nature. There's a third category of people who don't even know that the knowing is a very harsh way of expression. So it's not as gentle. If you go into one of our other episodes, the four intuitive episode, I think 49, in that episode, we talk about all the clairs and the intuition. But the knowing, which is what was her comment, I don't get gut feelings or knowings. The knowings are like, they're not sugar coated. They're not even empathetic. You can't even be kind about what comes out. When you get a knowing, it's simply no. It's such a it's a deep, yes, you are doing that no matter what. No, we are not going there. And there's nothing that you don't even care if that person is like having a temper tantrum in front of you to do it. That is what a deep knowing feels. A lot of times, a lot of humans have that deep knowing. And that these are the times that you actually express it without unapologetically. You're expressing your deep knowing. But then you shame yourself after because the person in front of you is not receiving it because it feels like you're controlling them or demanding this information or you're demanding them to do something, right? So this is another way of throwing you out of the knowing, where now you're like, oh my God. And a lot of people call it you're too blunt. You're being too blunt. You're not even being polite about it or catering to somebody's feelings. And so you swallow that in. So it's really depends on which clairs you work with, how they show up to you, and what you've been shamed out of. A lot of us intuitives have been shamed out of our intuition. We've been scolded out of it. So these are some of the categories just to clarify so people get the um yeah.
Mm. Oh, I love that. I love those three separate ones, and all of them make sense. Okay, you kind of started, like, you kind of talked about this, but I think the second part of this question, you can add more to it. So, is it possible that intuition shows up differently for everyone? Kind of talk about, and how can someone identify their unique way of experiencing it?
So yes, everybody has a very different intuition. So the reason there are so many different kinds on YouTube that you can watch is just to give you the possibility to be like, could it be like that? Could it be like that? Could it be, so that you experiment with yourself to figure out. So it's not one way or the highway. There isn't like, so I used to believe that I'd have to like, my eyes have to flutter upwards and I'm going to have to hear an outside voice tell me because I have clairaudience. It was just a mess because this is the majority of people that were sharing. This is how they would share it. But when you look at YouTube and look at all the different possibilities, that's the beauty of it is you get the opportunity to try all of them out and see which one actually works for you. And maybe none of them do, and you're something else. But 100%, you have intuition. You cannot exist here without it. That's just cruelty. So to identify it, okay, the unique way in which you experience it, a lot of empaths are very disassociated from their body. And one of the easiest ways to become associated back to the body, because you need it, because your body is where the intuitive compass lives. It's in here. This is where you receive the information. So it's just the easiest way is okay for a week or a day or however long that your time your concentration span. You just start to notice things about your body. When I'm around this person, what does my body do? When I'm around this person, what does my body do? Now it's less about them and it's more about in their presence. So if you're around a toxic person, what does it feel? What does my body do? Who do I become? Does my body shut down my throat and I can't really speak my truth? Do I contract? Does my heart start to beat? Do I start to sweat a little? Does my neck start to hurt? Does my eye twitch? It's like you're really hyper focusing on you, like the little things that happen. Like some people I notice that they start to just do this, right? They just start to, and while they're talking, they're doing this. I'm always like, interesting. Look at what their body's saying. They're uncomfortable. There's something about this person's energy that's shutting them down, right? So they're subtle things, but they're always there and they've always been with you. Like your intuition has always been there. And it's so subtle and it's so part of how you react that you're not going to notice if you're not consciously trying to find it. Like you're like, I'm going to find it. So that's how you can identify with it. If you're around somebody that you feel really at ease around, right? What does at ease feel like in your body? What happens? Does your knee pain disappear? I'll notice I have a pain in my right knee when I'm around people that I'm not at all like contracted. My right knee will stop hurting me, right? But I only notice because I paid attention. Because when there is no pain, you don't pay attention to things, right? But you start to pay attention. You're like, oh, that means every part of my body I can just be me. So start to notice that that's intuition. That's the core base of intuition. And it makes it a lot easier because you have something tangible to go back to.
Yeah. It's almost like this thing that just like it autopilot, it's automatically just happening, but yet somehow we discredit it or don't feel like it can be that easier that it's just happening, like when we're breathing. I don't know.
Exactly. It's like breath, you know? Like even that could be a sign. Like, are you short breathing? What is it? Oh, I'm not trusting anything I'm feeling right now. Maybe that's your key. I don't know, but it's so cool to discover yourself. It's so much better because we empaths spend so much time trying to figure other people out 24 hours a day. Like, oh, mom looked that way. When her eye throws to the left and her eyelash falls to the floor, that means
Run for your life.
It's like we had to be so hyper attuned.
Yeah.
Every look, every breath, every pour, like, oh, this person got a zit, hell is going to break loose. but we haven't even done that with ourselves. Like we haven't even done that. We've never done that with ourselves. Hyper focusing on self was deemed as arrogant, selfish, self-centered, right? Because it was perceived as you're going to walk around saying, I am, I am, I am. But it has nothing to do with that, actually. If you could take it from a different perspective, you are hyper focusing on you, not to be selfish or arrogant, so that you can actually hear divinity speak. That's the only, if this could be the only reason not to know yourself better, not all that feels very effortful, but it's like, I miss something my whole life, my whole existence here. And I miss being home, and being home is divinity. Okay. I need to figure out, how is divinity speaking to me every second of the day? Let me hyper focus my incredible empath ability at hyper focusing on other people's emotions and how they talk and look and everything. How about I turn it around and do it for me, because I've been so lonely and I really miss talking to divinity and I really want to see what this God compass is telling me, and
Mm.
just makes it easier.
This sounds like a fun challenge we should offer our listeners to what? Just focus on time to, rather than focusing these empaths on everybody else and paying attention to them, to take like 1 week and just like observe self in every interaction. Just slow down and just like watch and observe. What is my body doing without really saying much? I don't know. What do you think? What's the
Yeah,
challenge?
I think that's an amazing challenge. Okay, we'll do this challenge, and we'll also, I think we can also throw this challenge into our private group, into our connection lounge group.
Ooh,
So
I love
this
it.
will be really cool. We can, okay, so this is what we're going to do. Okay, for a week, you're going to have to share in the comments how it felt from day one, because it's going to be challenging. But every time you meet any human being, and you're zooming in to know who you need to be in their energy, because they've done the thing, something, right? You give, before giving yourself permission to choose which identity you want to dress up in the presence of this, or this, you're going to allow yourself to just be you for that moment, while you're in their presence, before the thing happens, and notice what the thing happens. Oh, my shoulders are going further up. I'm feeling tension in my back blade. Lovely. Okay, well, how does this person usually make me feel about me? Oh, that I'm not that significant. This is when my body feels insignificant. Okay, great. What do I do now? I'm feeling insignificant. Immediately, like in a blink of an eye. Oh, my love, you're allowed to feel insignificant with me. I love you. That's all you're going to do. You're not going to be like, okay, next affirmation, be significant, be significant. You're not going to affirm. That is your God compass. Okay. What is the compass actually telling you? This is a solution now. The compass is telling you you're feeling insignificance. Do you believe you're insignificant? I'm telling you you're not. Your shoulder's hurting, because if you weren't, if insignificant was true, your shoulder wouldn't hurt. You'd be standing in pride with insignificance, right? The body always, um, it stands tall and confident in itself when it is saying truth about itself to itself. Okay. And it shrinks or hurts, or the God compass starts to say, hey, it's not true. Stop feeling this way, when there's a glitch somewhere happening, right? So all like these negative self-talks, how other people make you feel, all this, and you making it about yourself, that is all taking you out of the perfection in which you're created, to give you an awareness. Your right knee is hurting. What is that? Are you afraid to move forward in life? Are you afraid to speak your truth? What is it? I'm telling you, something is misaligned right here. So you are believing a truth that is a lie, if that makes sense.
Mm, I love it. That's beautiful. And Rain had mentioned too, those of you that are listening, that we have this private group. So if you're interested in being a part of our private group that we have, to connect and have these conversations and to have fun and to dance and show our artwork, just please do a comment that you want to connect with us, and we'll get your email address and we'll connect that way. So I just want to point that out. We do a lot of fun stuff. We would love for you to join us if this resonates and you want to have more of us, personally. So anyway, okay, I'm going to ask you another question. So what might be blocking someone from accessing their intuition? And then how can they remove these blocks?
Oh, okay. So I think we spoke about quite a few of the blocks, and I think it's best to go into how to remove these blocks. So a lot of intuitive blocks, this is what I'm hearing. It's very interesting. So what I'm hearing is a lot of intuitive blocks are done due to shame. Shame blocks. And we know shame is one of the worst emotions to feel and believe in. But anyway, regardless, you believe in it, it's fine. We all go through shame. When shame happens, intuition is completely blocked and closed. Why? Because the only dialogue you are capable to hear within you is the dialogue of putting you down, making you feel less of yourself, um, fear-based. The whole entire dialogue is you are bad, you are not good, something's wrong with you. Like, that's the dialogue. That's not the same voice as source and divinity, but that is the voice of the shame. So shame is a huge blocker of intuition. When I notice that shame is talking, I'm so ashamed of myself. I know for sure that it's the opposite of truth. Okay. That I have blocked myself from intuition. Okay. That I've blocked myself from divine light and knowing and truth. Okay. How do you remove that? When the shame shows up. Now, all that shame wants to be heard, right? The reason shame existed to begin with in your system is because shame was never heard. When you were so ashamed of yourself, it's so ashamed to even share the thing that you were ashamed of. So shame never had an opportunity to share, right? Because if you're ashamed, you can't share with anyone. It's like your personal shame is just between you and you. The abuse happens very personally in me, right? All you need to do, you don't need to share it with anyone. Please don't, right? Don't share the shame with anyone because you don't know what their shame is that will not accept your shame. So don't share it with anyone. You want to share it with you, right? So when shame says, you are this, you are that, you're that, be like, oh my God, I am that. I am that. It's okay. I'm horrible. Yes, I get it. I love you. I'm despicable. Yes, I love you. Yes, I'm selfish. Yes, I love you. Oh, yes, I'm jealous. Yes, I love you. That's all you're going to do is shame. It's like you're going to give it the final opportunity, right? For it to express itself without being shamed out of being shamed.
Wow.
And what happens, intuition can be heard because you are providing shame with God love. Okay. Even though you are so disconnected right now, so disconnected, and you can't even find God for yourself, you are going to give whatever you remember before shame hit, God love to the thing, to the shame. You're going to give God love, even if you don't feel it. I don't even care if you don't feel it. You're just going to say, I'm so sorry. Yes, speak to me. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. You're allowed. You're allowed. You're allowed. I love you. I love you. I love you. You're allowed. You're allowed. You're allowed. Until it pops, and all of a sudden you're going to get the inspiration and intuition back.
Oh, I love it. It's amazing. And we're just going back loving every aspect of ourself. Like this is like feels so groundbreaking, like just really clicking. Like the truth is we're whole. And what does that mean to be whole? That means everything. And guess what? I didn't choose to have shame. I wasn't like, hey, shame, can you come in? Like, hey, anger, hey, this. It just drops in. So it's like somehow it's from divinity, it's from God. It comes in from somewhere that's above and beyond me. It's coming in and it just needs love and acceptance. It's just the part of the human experience, all of it. Even the stuff we say that's bad. You shouldn't be have hatred or whatever. Well, guess what? If someone does something really violent to your kids or something, like this emotion is going to come up and it deserves to be valid without, well, you need to forgive and you need to be a good girl and all that suppression. And then again, it goes into the game of what we resist persists. So then we bury this thing, we feel it, we're resisting. There's fight energy in our body with all these natural emotions. It's time to get out of that. So it's just finally clicking like how powerful this is if we can just give love to all these. Like you said, thank you, I love you, I see you, there's space for you. That's your whole role. Your whole role of shame is to do this thing, of anger is to do this thing. Let you be in that. You're good at it. And then it just, like you said, it just pops and then you don't carry it forever. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the only identity anger has. Like it cannot be happy. It's coming in with the best of its best. Shame is coming in with its glorious shame. That's all it this is there has shame has no other character traits. Shame cannot jump into joy. Like it's going to come and be like, can you love me with this magnificent thing that I am called shame? And without having to tell me, no, 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 you're not shameless. You're joy, you're joy, you're joy. And it's like, I'm not joy, damn it, I'm not. Shame. Like, stop affirming crap over me. Just see me.
I love it. See, this is fun. This is where when you're doing like healing or whatever word you want to use, self-improvement, self-discovery, it can just be fun and funny. Like, oh, I played that game. I'm not going to play that game anymore. I'm just going to love it. Okay, we give you permission to love your shame. You're welcome. Or your anger, whatever else you vilified of yourself. Permission is just drop it and give it love. Cool. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, just give it its dignity. Like, source so incredible, like such imagination to create these emotions that we despise and hate and do everything to like spit on day and night and like put in a dark closet never to come out. Like it was so creative of divinity to invent these so that we can feel the polarity so we can go back to source, right? Shame is all like, she worked really hard, not to feel anything but shame, to like be spewing shame on you. Like this she practiced. She comes in, be like, hey, you're allowed to exist in my world.
Seriously, I'm like seeing it as if someone's like trying out like an acting role. They're like acting a part, and it's like, hey, we need someone to be like the bad guy and a villain, and we need someone's shame, and we need this. It's like they deserve a kudos. They are crushing it.
Language. All of it is like, you are terrible. You are horrible. There's something wrong with you. Go change yourself. Like, how amazing. Like, that's all they say. Like, shame has never experienced joy. And we don't have to give joy to shame. But what all shame wants is she wants to be loved. Right? That's it. Yeah. So I think this will really help shift our perception of all these emotions that keep coming up, and we keep, bashing the hell out of them.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Intuition shows up. It's so natural that intuition will show up because there's no resistance to anything that's showing up, because God also exists in shame. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a part of the wholeness. Like, let it in, accept it all. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. And they all ride the wave. So enjoy the beautiful, majestic masterpiece that's being created. It's like, ooh, I feel this. And then but then when I feel this shame, then the goodness, I feel even better. Like happiness is even bigger so it's like, we need the polarity, and just to like see it as it is, this masterpiece of like, all right, this is actually kind of freaking cool. So, okay, that was fun. All right, here's another question for you. How can someone start developing a stronger connection to their inner voice if they feel it's not there?
Oh my God. How so many people don't feel it's there. So our inner voice, okay, this might get inner voice sounds like you. Okay, the inner voice sounds like you. It's no different than you because it's your inner voice. What a lot of people want to do, including myself years ago, this was one of my main aims. This is what I did for years. I'm like, the inner voice must sound different so that I can differentiate it between my brain and the inner voice, because they both sound the same. It's the same tone, the same voice. There's not one, and I was like, no, the inner voice must sound more godly, or I don't care, a masculine, a feminine, a fairy, something has to differentiate. How can I tell the difference? So how do you tell the difference? It's the stupidest way. You have no idea. I've spent years trying to figure this out and refusing to hear what the inner voice was actually telling me. This is how. Take a paper and pen. And you're going to take a paper and pen, okay? And you're just going to simply ask, Divine Creator of all, could you write me something? Could you write to me something? Okay? And you're just going to take a paper and pen. You don't even have to ask, like, what does the future hold for me? Is this right or wrong? Just simple question. Could you write through me something to me? Write me a letter. Okay. You don't know. It might be a bitchy letter. It might be a sweet letter. Who knows? You take a paper and write in pen. And then write, keep writing. You're going to notice that a lot of times the writing is, I love you. You're so adorable. It's so sweet. Look how wonderful you are. I miss you. Come back to me. Blah, blah, blah. You'll notice these things and you're going to look at the paper and you're going to be like, this is bullshit. Who's writing this? I don't even feel this way about me. Nobody loves me this way. This is me inventing God, that this is how God will speak to me, right? That's what you'll think. But that is actually that's the inner voice. It's so crazy. It sounds like you, it talks like you. The only difference is it talks really nice. So the inner voice is just to really, really, really find you speaking. That is the intuition, and that is God.
Okay, so I have a question on this one, okay? Because I've been carrying this one around for a while. So this just came up when you said this. I'm like, okay, there's my little pushback. See if you can help me break through, okay? And so if others have this, I had experience in my life. So me and my husband tried getting pregnant for years. It took us like 8 years to have our first child. We tried everything besides in vitro. We didn't want to go through that process. Even the adoption process, we were going through that. Um, so anyways, it was like 5 years later, like we're being married, trying to have kids. And my mom told me to do this. She's like, just write, because she does this a lot, and connect with God and ask or whatever. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I didn't normally do stuff like this. So I like asked the question, like, I just need to know, like, am I going to have a child soon? It's been 5 years. Am I going to have a child soon? I'm like, I truly want to know because I want to get a snowboarding season pass, but I'm like, I don't want to spend hundreds of dollars for a season pass if I'm going to get pregnant and I'm not going to be able to use it. And so I'm like, I just want to know, like, so if the answer comes back, like, you know what, just be patient, it's not the right time or something like that, then it would be like, okay, thank you. Then I can enjoy and get the pass and enjoy it. Well, the answer that came to me that I wrote down was, you're going to have a child soon. And so I was like, okay, so I didn't get the snowboarding pass. And again, it's like 3 years later, we still didn't have a child. So part of me, I disconnected. I'm like, I'm not doing this again. I'm not playing this game again. So I cut off the connection with source. I didn't even want to ask the questions because I'm like, bullshit. And my mom's like, but in the eternal perspective, that's not very long. And this, and I'm like, well, guess what? In God's time, that's not very long, you know? And I'm like, well, if God can't talk to me in my time that I'm used to, I'm sorry, but another 3-4 years on top of what I've already waited, and they say, oh, it's coming soon, I'm actually mad. Like, that's a lie. That's not soon for anybody. That's a long time to wait 8 years to have a kid. So I was kind of pissed about it. So that is how do you, for that situation, how do I know? Like, was that me lying to myself? And if so, if I'm going to lie to myself when I'm trying to do good, I don't want to play that game because I don't want the false hopes. Anyways, how does one work through that?
Well, what's interesting and everything you said, oh my God, I love that you shared this. Okay. So the first thing I heard is, but I was answering your real question because that wasn't the real question. Your real question was, am I going to get pregnant? The false question was, shall I buy those tickets? Am I going to get pregnant now? Okay. That was not the real question because you didn't know then that you will get pregnant. But the real question, the burning question you had is, am I going to get pregnant? And the answer was, you are. Because the outside question was not the real question. The outside question was very momentary, like right now, shall I buy these tickets or not? And you were hoping that from this answer, like you want to speed it up to get to know like the timeline of when you're going to have the kid. Like there was another underlying question that was being asked. But you were the true question. Like that's why sometimes they tell you when you ask a question, ask truly, is this truly the question that my heart of hearts truly wants an answer to? Because you're always going to receive the answer. And you did, you had a kid. Because your whole question was, if you've waited all these years, is, will I have a child? Will I be a mother? Will I be a mother? So is it making sense?
Yeah, but it seems like my question was like, am I going to have a child soon? Like for me, I'm like, I really want to know. And I'm fine if the answer is like no, if it comes back like, no, you're not, I'm cool with that. don't lie to me, because it's like, I just want to know, is it, can I switch where my brain is? Do I put the effort into growing a baby nursery because it's going to happen, or get excited with that? Or is it I put the energy into just living my life, being with my husband, getting my snowboarding pass? That's what I wanted to know. I'm cool with either, honestly. But I wanted to know, is it happening soon? And it felt like the answer was like, yes, it is. So then I didn't do these things. And since it was way later, then I was pissed and resentful, and I stayed disconnected, and I didn't go to source again. I'm like, nope, not doing that again. I'm just going to live my life, do my thing. I'm not talking to God because I don't believe it, the connection.
That makes so much sense. Well, of course you'd feel that way. You're like cheated out of an answer because you gave up having fun and doing the thing, waiting for the baby when it was in 3 years, but the now that you are going to have one isn't of the now. So let's see. As to what happened. Okay, so this is what I'm hearing, and let's see if it even makes sense. So what I'm hearing is that it's not that God has to have a specific question written in a specific way so that it can be answered. But like what your mother said, time is relative, right? And I know you were like the ticket now, meaning I had the time set. It was this winter, right? Like by this winter, will I have, or do I go have fun, right? Okay, this is very weird because I'm also hearing that it was better for you not to have gone to that thing that you wanted to do. Like either way, they wanted to stop you from going there. Like either way, like there were two separate questions in a way, or it was not the same. Like one of them is yes, you're having a baby, but we don't want there's something not good for you there, so you're not going to go there.
Mm.
So it was like closing a door to something that you were like this about, that they're like, but that's not a good thing. Like I don't know, something was not good there that you
Like
were
I
being
should not be putting
prevented
my
from going.
energy into that
Yes,
thing. It
into
needed to
that
be
thing.
directed somewhere else.
Yes. They were redirecting you because you were locked into that, but there was also the locked into that for an answer so that I can know if it's coming soon or far, so I can have a timeline because I want to be able to organize my life around a timeline kind of thing.
Mm.
Um, so basically all I'm hearing is like, well, we were protecting her. Um, oh, so I'm hearing it would by in 3 years, were you able to let go of the whole thing? 3 years later.
Gosh, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it finally got to a point where I stopped focusing on it and just was living my life and working and whatever. And then when things came up, I'd take care of my body or whatever and do what I needed to see if it could help with that. But wasn't as attached to it. I kind of let go of the excitement for it or whatever, as much as possible. But it was hard when family was having youngers were having like lots of kids and we still weren't. So
Yeah. So all I'm hearing is there was something not good for you there. They wanted to redirect you, but they were answering your question saying you are going to be a mom. Like that is a thing. So the anger that you've had of like you were supposed to answer me, the specific thing, they're like, well, we did two in one shot, kind of thing. I don't know. Like to them, they were like, and I always say they because God to me is not one, but it's a they. To them, they're like, she dodged a bullet, man. It was amazing. Like just asking that question, and we're like, no, and everything stopped. Like she didn't do the thing that would have caused something,
mm.
would have caused something not good.
Yeah, it's interesting just coming to like just trusting that everything is working out perfectly or whatever. But the truth is that was a big disconnect for me where I was like I kind of even gave up the relationship with God and even thinking about what I wanted or needed. It was trying to suppress. So that's where I kind of suppressed a lot of feelings and emotions and things that I wanted and desired, of just like not going to get it anyways. Like there was some bitterness that was built in there that affected my life and how I've lived my life and blocked me in having the most fulfillment in relationships and life and everything. So it's just interesting. But
Yeah, that
yeah.
is very interesting. And look at
Okay.
you where you're at today. Okay.
All right. So, what are some practical steps to quiet the mind and tune into intuitive signals for those who feel disconnected?
Okay, so this is very interesting because this is a conversation that me and Mel were having actually yesterday. So to have like practical steps to quiet the mind, not everyone can meditate. Okay, so we know Mel is not, this is something, of course, she's going to challenge herself because that's the beautiful entity that she is. She'll challenge herself to try it out and see, but it's not the thing that calls for her the most, right? She's more of an active person. So it really is a very personal, again, it's very much self-reflection. What things do I do in my day that make time fly by? Okay. That I lose myself in. Is it like we were talking? I was telling her, for example, me cleaning, like if I'm focusing on like, okay, I'm gonna clean the drawer from the inside, hyper focus. What takes your time away and actually you're not in the thinking thought, you're in a doing place, but it's not doing because you're going to get an end result, right? Like of course I'd like the kitchen counters cleaned, like that's the end result, but the process of it is enjoyable as it is. Some people it's Mandela, some people it is meditating, some people it's nature walking, some people it's of not reading a book because that stimulates the brain. It's like trying to get this brain to go silent so that you can tell the difference in the body, how the body is reacting, right? Because you want to have the body more attuned to God frequency, which is more relaxed, more at peace, more at oneness, right? And the way to do that in the human form is to do an activity that produces. Some people knit, crochet, paint. It's one of those things that you're not waiting for the end result. The people who are knitting a scarf, I used to knit, okay? I'm not waiting like, oh, I'm going to knit for the next 100 hours because I have to have the scarf by tomorrow morning, right? I'm knitting just because it's going to end up being a scarf, right? And it just feels really good to busy my hands. I love to use my hands. So maybe that's the way. So it's like you have to know who you are and do that. Like Mel, you can talk a little bit about how you discovered, like, you're practicing different things and who you are, so that how you're going to go with who you actually are to
Yeah.
help you.
Yeah. Yeah. We just talked about this yesterday, like she said, and it was like we're talking about like meditating and me just sitting still. My mind just starts going. Like I feel like I need to move. So I realized like me going for the gym, like even going to the gym and me just practicing on being like present with it is kind of meditative for me. It's like, okay, Mel, just focus on lifting the weights. And when my mind, like yesterday, my mind started to like go off and like want to analyze all this other stuff. And I was like, Mel, nope, you're not creating space for that right now. You're not creating a space for that or any trying to figure anything out. Focus on your muscles. You're here. Be present. You came here to lift your muscles. Like working them out, be present in this. And so it felt really good because normally the truth is I go to the gym, I go into autopilot and I just like do the thing. I listen to music, I listen to podcasts, like I'm kind of somewhat disconnected from the workout. So even the other day, I didn't even bring headphones or anything because I'm like, no, I really want to be present with what I'm doing. And so that was one thing that I realized, which most people would not call that probably meditating, but for me, that actually worked for me. I like moving my body and then a new thing I'm going to try, I just pulled out a puzzle last night. And so rather than going to my phone and scrolling, like, no, I'm going to go and do a puzzle where I don't have to think much. Like a book seems like thinking to me, at least the books I tend to choose. And so it's like I just want to like mindlessly put the colors together, line things up. And that feels calming and meditative to me. So, anyways, that's so far what I'm practicing with. This is a new process for me.
Yeah, so it's perfect. So you're getting like different feels of different people. Like there's no one way or the highway. And for me, meditation is superb. Like it benefits me insanely, but it's so not recommended for everybody because a lot of people drives them insane, right? To meditate. So again, it's going back to where noticing the body, you know, cooking. I hate cooking. Like, I hate it. But there are times, and not all the time, where I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to cook for the next 3 hours and put things in the freezer. And I start to enjoy everything. I start to visualize, like, oh, how delicious this would look with this sauce and this. Oh, I wonder if the kids will like it. And all of a sudden, I'm completely immersed in the design of this stuff that I'm about to cook. Right. So it's like what Mel said, like, are you present to like working out? Oh my God, look at how amazing my muscles are pumping so much blood right now. Did it like you're here? You're nowhere else. You're not solving the world problems, you're not solving your problems. When that happens, you're so attuned to intuitive signals because you're really one with you. Yeah. So that's
Oh,
Anna.
I love it. Okay, well, I want to wrap up. Do you have any last minute things that you want to throw down before I wrap up? Are you
Nope,
good?
just excited for
Okay,
the angel card. Thank you, Mel.
perfect. I'm excited too. Okay, well, we just want to close with thank you for listening today. I thought this was a really fun episode. We hope you got some really great takeaways from it. Just remember, beautiful empath, you are the light that this world needs. Don't forget it. We give you permission to see you, to love you, to connect with you, to be present with you, and just enjoy the fullness of you and the gift of you. Um, we also have some things for you. We have created something really special. It's just a 3-minute daily ritual to help you kind of check in with self, shift any limiting beliefs. So make sure to check that out. It's in the description. We have a link for it. Also, we would love to be YouTube friends. So please follow us. You can be up to date on all of our newest episodes, and we'd love to connect with you. So if you found value in this video as well, you can support us. We created a Buy Me a Coffee account, which is just an account where you can go in, you can donate to help kind of fuel what we're doing here. And we also have some really great products there that you can get for yourself that will help us and you. And then comment. I want you to comment below on your takeaway. Let's see. Oh, we had a challenge. So I want to see if you guys are down with doing the challenge. It was for 1 week. Let's see. Every time you meet a human, allow yourself to be you and notice what happens and notice how your body feels. So let us know if you're going to do that challenge. Check back in with us to let us know how that was for you. I think that's going to be really fun. And then, if you want to connect with us in a more intimate setting, we do have a private Facebook or a connection lounge that we have. We're in the process of creating an online platform that's going to be really cool. So if you want to be a part of that and help us create this space for us to come together, please connect with us and let us know. And then, Rain, let's check out your angel card.
Okay. Angel card. What do we
What is the
need
energy
to know?
pulling for us today?
Yes. What do we need for this week? Ugh. Joy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Look at that. And there are three. This is something interesting.
Oh.
So the angel card is joy for this week until our next episode.
Mm.
Whether you have one friend, two, or three, there's a playfulness, and it isn't a playfulness alone. There's a playfulness with others that you can start to incorporate, even if you don't have best friends or you're isolated or haven't talked to your family in so long. Is there a way that you can incorporate joy and playfulness with community, with others for this week? Whether it is you live in a hotter country than here, and you're going to walk down the streets and you're going to say hi to 3 different people. Whether you're going to take a workshop, an art, you're going to take an art class, you're going to go to a dance class, you're going to go out with friends. There's like something to do with the joy being produced by you with other people, which actually goes in perfect alignment with your intuitive being, right? Feel intuitively into this. Feel how the body feels. If you're going to search on Facebook or Google and see all the activities that are out in your community that you can join, notice, does your body contract or does it open? No matter if you read like, this is incredible and amazing, but you're like suffocated by it, don't go. So this is a great way. So you're going to be searching for joy this week. This week, this is what it is. I'm getting crazy goosebumps. Okay, so what you're going to do with joy this week, you are going to look for joy. You're going to allow the God compass, your body, okay, guide you to all the joy places. Everything that doesn't feel joy, you're going to walk away from. And anything that opens you up to joy in your body, you're going to stay with. This is the best practice you can do this week to get attuned to your intuition. So, joy. You're going to attune to joy this week.
I love it. It's perfect. All right. We'll see you on the next episode. Comment so we can connect.